Good day. I am Robert Silverstein, MD, for the Preventive Medicine Center and West Hartford Cable Access TV. We had an interesting show the last time. I was told it was one of the most popular ever. There were like 8 calls, which represents, of course, the proverbial tip of the iceberg. So I thought it was actually a pretty good show and planned to get a DVD of it for my big break on Broadway or network television to show that is what I can do. Anyhow, I have a number of ideas to discuss today. I was like driving up here listening to National Public Radio, which I told you many times my son calls National Communist Radio. But Ira Flatow was on with Science Friday. They were interviewing a study that was, or the author of the study, who I believe was a physician, and it was one of the high-protein diets that had been done for approximately a year. And what they found out was that people lost more weight on an Atkins-type diet. Now, they don't really mean Atkins. They really mean more South Beach. And a South Beach-type diet is more fish and chicken as opposed to the brie and the steak and the cheese and the omelets and so on. So what they found is that many of the parameters that predisposed to heart disease, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, tendency to diabetes, all got better on this diet than apparently people who tried the Ornish diet. They didn't have anything on there about macrobiotics, and it was only diets for which there had been a book written so that you could hand somebody the information and then they would be able to do what they were able to. This apparently was a big funded study. So Weight Watchers was not included because there was no Weight Watchers book. Now, I listened to this diet, and this man was defending this high-protein approach, and I certainly understand that. And I only heard this program at 12 minutes into the hour, so I rushed into the station, got on a computer, found the 800 number, which I knew anyhow, 989 talk, and tried to reach Ira Flatow and could not get through. First of all, they said call back, one of those automated voice messages, and then it just rang and rang and rang, so I never got through before the hour ended. It is a terrible mistake to think that a high-protein diet is good for you. That is not the design of the human body. I did not say it could not be efficient at helping you lose weight, and if you've watched this show many times, you will have heard me say that I don't care how you get the excess percent body fat off. And how does one know if one has excess percent body fat? Can you see the clear lines of definition or demarcation where muscles meet the muscles here on the arms, here on the tummy, and so on? And of course, I always quote the same quote, let he who is without sin cast the first stone, and judge not lest ye be judged. So the point is, I'm not perfect. Most people are not perfect. It is not about perfection, but on the other hand, you have to know where we're supposed to be. And so getting down to that lean, trim weight is the single most important step in reducing cholesterol, in reducing triglycerides, and in reducing, and I hope I can find it quickly here, A1C. Leave it to me. No, that's not it. So anyhow, I'll go through those in a few minutes. But A1C is sort of your measure of movement towards diabetes or away from diabetes. It's not an absolutely diagnostic whatever, but I tend to use the parameters that I think are most helpful. I use parameters like blood pressure, very helpful. Blood pressure in the arm is not what's going on down at the heart. You need a machine called the sphygmocore in order to find out what the blood pressure is at the level of the heart, which is far more important than what it is out here at the arm. And the same thing goes for cholesterol. Cholesterol is not the whole story. What's the good cholesterol? What's the bad cholesterol? What is, and remember I've taught you this very important number, subtract the good from the total. Subtract the HDL from the total cholesterol, and that number, if you want freedom from coronary artery disease as far as cholesterol goes, has to be less than 90. I didn't say it had to be about 100. I didn't say it had to be about 110. I said it has to be less than 90 because that is where freedom from coronary artery disease is for all practical purposes, bearing in mind there is the always, proverbial, occasional exception to the rule. So that number, subtract the good from the total, and that needs to be less than 90. Well, anyhow, those numbers, so if you say how important is blood pressure, how important is cholesterol, same thing goes for this A1C. We're talking about things that give you a pretty good parameter by which you will be able to predict the future development of diabetes, heart attack, stroke, dialysis, and so on and so on. And that's the purpose of this program. So if you have questions about this program, please feel free to call this station or my office directly at 549-3444 at the Preventive Medicine Center. And we have a wonderful website that I got a great compliment on. It was called, our website is www, of course, like all the rest of them, the, PMC, Preventive Medicine Center, thepmc.org. Not .com, not .net, .org. We are a 501c3 charitable and tax-deductible educational institution. And as my first son says, who calls NPR Communist Radio, he says SMF, and that is Send Millions Fast. When he was in college, he used to say that. And the same thing goes, send millions fast to West Hartford Cable Access TV and to the Preventive Medicine Center. And of course, we will use your money wisely and send you a letter. West Hartford Cable Access TV, the Preventive Medicine Center, will send you a letter guaranteeing the legal tax deductibility of your contributions. Now, enough of the humor and back to the real deal.